Thanks. Last week, I saw a movie called $1 Million Baby. It was a sad movie, but it left me with a question. When we watch a sad movie or a violent movie, are we unknowingly attracting unfavorable circumstances into our own lives? And conversely, if we watch a comedy or something that makes us laugh, are we raising our point of allowance?
Yes. We have one thing that we want to comment on relative to your very well-stated question. If you recognize that the movie was sad, you are not unknowingly doing it. Your awareness that it made you feel sad means you're consciously aware now that your vibration has taken a dip. Now, will it have strong negative repercussions in your experience? Probably not, but it will activate something. Watch, once you see a movie like that, how much real-life stuff that mimics some of that begins to show up in your experience that has not been part of your experience before.
Right.
You just can't get around it. Sometimes, especially in this audience, actors will come to us and they will say, Abraham, if I play the role of some person that I don't want to be, a sick person or a mean person, could it affect my point of attraction? And we say, well, when you think about it, there's a difference between feeling like you are that person who is the victim of your character and feeling like you are the actor that plays that character. And if most of the time you are a successful actor playing a character and feeling good about being able to do it well, then your vibration is in a pretty healthy place. We would not role play anything that we don't want to live. And we wouldn't watch movies that play out scenarios that we wouldn't want to attract.
Right.
Because your vibration is your everything. Why would you deliberately activate something within you that is going to be a player in your point of attraction that could bring you something that you do not want? We'll tell you why. Esther watched the presidential debates. And her excuse was, it's interesting. Her excuse was, I want to be informed. Her excuse was, I like the stimulation of thought. Her excuse was, I like the feeling of the energy moving. And every time she watched any part of it, she felt worse afterward than she did before. And every time she watched someone else's show who was commenting on the debate that she had seen and they had seen, she felt worse still. And so what we want to say to Esther and to all of you is that when you say, it's interesting, or it's fascinating, or it's something that I've been thinking about, when you say it's a subject that I'm wanting to know something about, we understand that. But if you will overlay over that desire to be stimulated, a more intense desire to feel good while you are stimulated, you can have a fascinating life exploring things that you want to live. There are so many who say, if we don't really investigate and understand the tragedies of our past, then we will repeat them for sure. And we say, actually, the opposite is true. The more you investigate and poke around with a stick, things that you didn't like when they happened and you don't like when you think about them, the more you activate them in your vibration and the more you are certain to drag them into your next experience. You just can't complain about anything without holding it to you. Come with me, this thing that I do not want, and let me continue to describe you to everyone I know.
Thank you. I think I'll start watching more comedies.
This is the reason that so many people want to create these movies. They have some point that they want to make. They see something lacking in society and they want to make a strong point. And it does make a strong point. It really helps in activating desire. In other words, that movie and the millions who will watch it will cause strong rockets of desires to be offered. And you could be one who feels the rocket of desire shoot off within you, and you could be one who now diligently cleans up your vibration about it, who rides the rocket and imagines the improvement. In other words, improvement does come like that, but we do not encourage anyone that does not know about managing their own vibration to spend any time in any painful vibration. If you know how to manage your vibration, now you've got your hands in the clay, you see. But most people don't. Esther heard so many people, dear friends, saying, have you seen the Titanic? And Esther said, no, I know how it ends. And they said, it's a really good movie. I cried all through it. I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And Esther said, thank you for the information. She did not want to go and cry, but then she was fascinated. She was fascinated by the attention it got. She was fascinated by the actors that were in it. She was fascinated by the story itself. So she watched the movie later when it came around to her hotel room. And she cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And then she was mad at the movie, and then she was mad at herself, and then she was mad at the movie, and then she was mad at herself. And as far as we can see, no good has come from it. It just makes her a little tense when she goes on a cruise.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello, Abraham. About 13 years ago, my brother was in a motorcycle accident, and he's paralyzed from the neck down. He's an amazing, inspirational person, but he's depressed often and very afraid of death. What do you think are the best things that I could say to him or anyone who's suffering physically?
We're going to give you some wonderful encouragement here, but before we talk about your brother and his depression, we want to talk to you about where you think you are on the emotional scale relative to this. In other words, are you depressed too?
It makes me very sad.
It's hard for you to see something happening to someone that you love and feel joyful about it. But when you're off this topic, would you say that you tend to be a happy person?
For the most part.
And so on some subjects you feel better than others, but on that subject you don't feel so good. So you really don't have very much that you could give in terms of helping him go very far. If you are feeling appreciation and love about something, and you know someone who's in despair, you really can't help them very much because your vibrational frequencies are so different. You can't relate to them really, and they can't relate to you. Now, in this 13 years of being a part of this and observing it, you have brought your vibration so that it's not so far from his. In other words, his experience and his condition has caused almost everyone around to adjust their vibration into a not so good feeling place. So much so that you almost feel guilty when you are experiencing something that brings you out. It feels to you like you shouldn't allow yourself to feel wonderful when there's someone that you love so much that doesn't feel so wonderful. And yet we want to say to you that you can't feel bad enough to help him feel good. You can't get poor enough to help poor people become prosperous, and you can't get sick enough to help sick people become well. You must selfishly tend to your own vibration. We really want you to hear that. And so we want to begin by saying to you, relative to your brother, that if his desire to be in this physical body were not very strong, he would not have remained in his physical body. So when you say he is an amazing person, what do you mean?
I mean, he makes the best of what he has.
Mostly he does. And tell us a little bit about what his personality is like and how he spends his day.
He spends his day in a dark room and mostly just watches TV.
It's sort of his window to the world that he has easy access to, yes?
Yeah.
Now, you cannot necessarily say this to him yet, but we want to give you something that may make you feel better. We are only mind. We are perspective, we are thought, and your brother has that. In other words, he can focus. So when he makes the best of something, it has to be, Jerry has said to Esther, he was an acrobat. He joined a circus when he was a teenager. And then he was always very physical. He did all kinds of different entertaining acts that always included dancing or singing or something to do with his body. For a number of years, he was a juggler. He was very physical. Esther catches him juggling in the new coach and finds ball marks on her new suede ceiling. So, at some point in his experience, he made the decision that because he watched people that were surrounding him in the circus, and he realized that he was getting so much of his joy from his body, but he would not always be able to do that. He did not anticipate that at 80 or 90 he would be wanting to walk the wire or swing from the bar or maybe even juggle, although we think that will probably still be in place, much to Esther's consternation. So he decided that he would become a person of the mind, that he would allow himself pleasure through thought in every way that he could. And every day he appreciates his physical body. We are in no way trying to make a comparison between a perfectly healthy person and someone who has no bodily function below the neck. But we want to say to you that there are many people who use their mind primarily and have found joy, and your brother can too. And so eventually, when you feel clear enough about this and good enough about it yourself, you may be able to give him this information that will help him enormously. So here you are, brother. This is how it is, and it's not likely that it's going to change anytime soon. This is how it is, and you can be in despair about it, or you can be playful about it. You can be in despair about it, or you can be angry about it. This is how it is. You can be angry about it. You can be interested in it. You can be hopeful about it. In other words, you get to decide which of those feels better. Now, we know that when you're hoping for something that you don't believe is going to happen, that hope does not feel very good. But what he has is an opportunity to show you and everyone else what we have so much been wanting to say to you in a way that you can hear. And fortunately, most of you are not in these extreme places, but we want you to reach the place where you can adjust your thought and therefore affect the way you feel and not need to demand the circumstances to change before you can feel better. And we would like to say, even to someone in this situation, that if you could, through the power of what you've been living and the rockets of desires that have been launched, if you could find a way of releasing the resistance that is within you, things can change and improvement can take place. We have never seen a physical condition that cannot change, but the energy has to shift first. But that's too much to tell him right away. It's not too much for you to hear, but it's too much to tell him because he does not believe that anything can change for him. And so what we want you to tell him is that the only thing that you can see can change is the way he feels, and you know that can change. Whether he can hear it or not depends upon how much despair he's feeling. You might be close by as you help him move up the emotional scale. He might need to spend a month in anger, and those around him would caution him against it. We would encourage it because we know it would be on the way to feeling better, you see. Good. This is heavy-duty stuff. But within this answer is the answer to all. We want you to begin to live your unconditional love, which means we want you to find a way under any conditions to feel better. And when you show yourself that under any conditions, even these extreme conditions, you can feel better, then things begin to shift for you. All kinds of things. All kinds of things. Good time for a segment of refreshment. You're welcome. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious beyond description to come together with those like you who are coming into full empowerment of your own experience. Be easy about this. Make peace with where you are. Look for reasons to appreciate your life and those around you, and most of all yourself. And coach yourself into more and more conscious alignment with emotions that feel good to you. And understand that wherever you are is all right and subject to improvement. But don't let the crevasse between where you are and the improvement you seek set you off balance so much that you lose sight of the direction that you are going. Let the emotions that are within you guide you, and don't lose track of what you want. And say to yourself on a regular basis, I'm such a good person and I came forth with such clear intent. And it is so satisfying to see my life unfold in the way that I've intended before I even got into this physical body. And I'm loving so much getting to put my 2 cents worth in from here. I am the creator of my own experience, and universal forces, God, and all that is will assist me in accomplishing anything that I desire. There are no limits for me. Say it often and let it be your experience. There is great love here for you. We are complete.